Good morning, guys. Here we are back at the lake. It's gonna get a few hours of fishing in this morning before we gotta go do some golfing. But put it in here at Shawnee Bend. I wanted to fish more up the river, kind of where we were staying, but I couldn't find a ramp. So I decided to put it in here at Shawnee Bend. So I'm kind of gonna go in the back of these coves again, back in the pockets, do some flipping around the last docks like I have been doing, and see if that is working on this part of the lake. I was doing all that on the lower end up by the dam. I was curious to try in the river, but I'll try here kind of in the mid-lake section and see if it's the same results or if it's any different. Might even throw a little bit of top water around, buzzbait, things like that behind these docks as well. But we'll see what happens. If I'm not getting any bites on that in the hour or so, then I think I'm gonna swap over to secondary points with brush piles, and I mean it this time. And I'll ride that out until it's time to go in. Like I said, I only got maybe 3 hours to fish at tops, so we'll see how we do. Little small guy on a buzzbait. Hey, they ate a buzzbait. First one flipping. He's chubby. Probably been eating shad back here. Go. Not a bad one. It's got a funky shaped head or body. Flipping way up behind the dock here in the shallow side. Actually saw a brush pile kind of up under the dock, so I flipped over in that direction. First cast. Secondary point. Well, more like an underwater point out into the main lake. All right, so quick recap of the morning. Basically, I was flipping docks this morning, caught a couple, nothing real consistent. But, you know, they were all in the back in the shallowest parts and primarily in the shade. But one thing I did notice on this part of the lake compared to a little bit further up by the dam is I didn't see any shad in the back of any of these creeks. Now, I've seen some on live scope on secondary points and things like that, a little bit closer to the main lake, but I didn't see them pushed back as far. But, you know, best one was 2.5, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 pounds probably. Just flipping the brush hog again on the darkest part of the dock and the shade. I would feel a little bit better about doing it now as the sun's getting higher and it's a little bit easier to target those docks in the specific areas versus when I was kind of doing it earlier this morning. The sun wasn't as high and you got to flip a lot more area around a dock. But caught a couple on the buzzbait, small, nothing to talk about really. And I caught one out here on this underwater point near some brush. But I saw some more fish on the break line, but I just don't have time to try and catch them now. I gotta head in. But I'd say if I was fishing all day today, I'd probably concentrate at flipping again in the back of the pockets and see if I could get any bigger fish or something a little bit more consistent in this part of the lake. And if that wasn't going to work out, then I would probably run a few miles up where I was the other day and go in there and see if I can replicate the same thing. So. What is up? Out here again. It's Sunday now. It's 10:30. Got a little late start. No one was in a hurry. We're just relaxing, enjoying ourselves. So I'm gonna fish for a few hours here up on the lower end, see if I do any good. We were fishing yesterday up in the river area. I think like around the 40-mile marker-ish, and it didn't do any good really. You know, flipping the shallow docks didn't really produce. Fished a few secondary points and brush piles, didn't really have much going on there. But I'm gonna try up here in the lower end. That's what's been working for me. So I'm gonna try and see if it is holding true or if things have changed and that bite's kind of going away. So we'll see what happens here. First dock, got one on a jig. Not a big one, but it's better than catching nothing. Small keeper flipping another dock here. Second one I went to. A little one. I haven't quite figured out what the difference is, but doing this exact same thing in the river basically produced 0 fish. Shortly doing it up here, I've already caught 3. Still trying to put the pieces together of what's what. Another keeper, not a big one, but a keeper. Oh, damn. That was a big bite. Small one. Same dock, full of little ones. See if I can catch another one. That's bigger though. Looking for another 5-pounder. One thing about these flipping hooks I've been trying out is they tear up the bait. I mean, destroy it. I don't know if I'm sold on them or not. There might be a better one. Oh, come on. There. That was the freaking 5-pounder. Oh, man. Another short. Plenty of shorts today. Nice little chunky spotted bass. There we go, got you fixed up. Alright, not a bad little spotted bass. Usually you find them deeper, but sometimes you find them where you'd expect to catch a largemouth. Okay, new brush hog. Let's see how she does. Brand new. Big fish like new brush hogs. It's a little better, huh? Hey, would have been my second decent one of the day if I would have kept up with the first one. Look at that tail's all bloody again. I noticed in my last video that the bigger one I caught, the tail was all bloody too. I don't know what's going on. Close to 4 pounds, not quite as big as I thought, but still a nice one. Oh man. I did not get a hook set on at all. I was stuck in a kayak. Okay, you know what? You're just coming in the boat. You ain't even big enough to really worry about. Look at that, that fell right out. Yeah, I flipped up on this dock and there's 2 kayaks and my wind blew up over top. I felt some pressure. So just remember, if you ever catch a fish over a cable like that, or in this instance where my line was stuck on something else and over top of a cable, just keep pressure on them. Do everything you can to keep pressure on them, because that hook point was literally just in the roof of his mouth. If I would have let any pressure off, it would have came right out. Today fishing was much better on the lower end here. I'm not exactly sure why. It's so much different here than it was up the river a little bit, but nonetheless, I've had way more success up here than I did down by the river. Beta choice again, zoom brush hog. I dipped the tails in chartreuse, flipping around shallow docks. Same thing as I've been doing, which is very back of pockets or creeks. Usually seems like a little bit bigger creek where it really flattens out. is a lot better than just a small little cut. And fishing the shallowest docks, maybe the last 4 or 5 docks in there, preferably less than 5 foot of water. That's where I've been doing the most damage, and then with a little bit of wind on it helps. And then I'm fishing the darkest shade on the docks, so looping through and skipping, pitching this Zoom brush hog up as far underneath stuff as I can go. It's on a 3/8 ounce weight and then just a flipping hook. So that's basically all I've been doing. I did catch one on a jig this morning. I think you could probably do the same thing with a jig, flip it around, or any other soft plastic that you want, that you like, and you probably have similar results. I think if you flip docks all day, you get a pretty decent limit. I've been doing it for just a couple hours here and probably caught almost 20 fish and had, I think, 4 keepers in there. I may have had 5, I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. But the biggest one was almost 4 pounds, and then a couple in the 2s. And I missed the big one that was probably pushing 5 pounds, came off the edge of the boat. But I think if you stuck with it all day, you could do pretty good. That's about my fishing report if you are coming up for a tournament or if you're just fishing for fun. But try and get up here again soon, as much as I can before the baby comes. But until then, good luck. Stay tuned for some more videos. Thanks, guys.